Hi, Stephen. Good to see you again. It's a delighted experience to have you in this chat room. I know that right now you are in Canada. How about you introduce yourself a bit because yeah, we need to we need to know you a bit more. Yeah, for the internet users or for audiences out there in the cloud.
Okay, sure. I'm a present in Vancouver.
Okay.
Probably this is the most beautiful city in Canada, one of the top five most desirable cities to live in the
Mhm.
world.
Yeah.
And I've been in Canada many years.
Mm.
Came from Hong Kong when I was 18 years old.
Okay.
I left China when I was okay. Somebody tried to call me anyway. I left China when I
I can
was
hear you.
6 from Shanghai. Went to Hong Kong. Sort of grew up in Hong Kong and left Hong Kong when I was 18. Don't ask me why did I leave Hong Kong. It's basically we have a very small place to live in Hong Kong. I don't have a bedroom. I just sleep on the floor.
Okay.
I grew up in a boarding school, so for that reason, I have to get out of Hong Kong. I have to get out of home. So I went to Canada. So briefly, and came to Canada when I was a high school student. Struggled all the way to university and settled down in Canada and back to China when I about 30 some years ago. So this is very briefly. So you can imagine I've been through a lot,
Indeed.
very much. So I will probably have a lot of interesting little stories to share with the young people.
I totally can
Right?
feel
You're confused. What?
feel this the depths, the depths of your past experiences. And I do believe that me would be very lucky enough to have this kind of the energy and also this wisdom coming from our discussion. So my first question is about the topic confidence, because I think without confidence, without this very essential quality, a person, be it a young guy or a senile, cannot face all those kind of challenges lying ahead. So I hope that Stephen, you possibly pick one anecdote or past experience that could show like your way of having, how to build this such kind of confidence to help you move forward.
This is quite interesting subject. I'll try to be very brief.
Yeah.
I was one of the very few fortunate humans on earth. I grew up without parents.
Okay.
I lived with my parents' friends for about 2 years when I was 4 years or so. I grew up without guidance, without parents. Probably I've been through for 2 years without lunch because I was by myself. So I have to look after myself. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. This I would consider this is the best present God gave me
Why?
because I never had comfort zone. So I have to struggle. Maybe you might call that my life is full of stupidity. In Chinese, we call 傻劲, 傻傻的.
Like
I
nuttiness.
knew nothing. Just go ahead and do it. Of course, just like any other human, I made a lot of mistakes. I went through a lot of suffering,
Mm.
but in hindsight, this is all good. It's all part of training to boost my confidence. So I'm at a point that I don't question, do I have any self-confidence? Because I have done a lot of hardship. I have been through a lot of struggling and I went through. So to me, I don't think twice. I just go in and do it. Maybe you would call that self-confidence in a lot of people.
Mm.
Now, I cannot see that too many people with my opportunity in the past that I've been through. So I was on my own. I have no choice but to do it. So this is good.
Okay.
Now, I can see a lot of parents would compare, would criticize their kids if the kids is not performing at the parents' expectation. So this is not good. We're just pumping negative feeling to the child. This is absolutely devastating.
Mm.
This is destructive.
Okay, Stephen, I wanna chime in. I wanna interrupt. Sorry. The,
Okay.
how about this situation? I mean, considering that we hope to reach the audience, like the possible teenagers and youngsters, indeed, you were lucky enough to have such kind of a beginning, with hardships or adversity, of course. But in hindsight, you treat it as quite a valuable thing. But today's children, like your children, they were born with a silver spoon, kind of, uh, not that deep pocket, but material support, enough for them to kick off a life that is carefree. How what's your take on them? I mean, what are the things that they could do, or we say they could try to, cultivate kind of equality or like personality in order for them to have this kind of confidence as what you just mentioned. It, that would be kind of tricky, isn't it? Because you cannot expect today's children or today's youngsters to have to um, voluntarily, always say intentionally choose kind of hardship to go through in order for them to pick up this quality like perseverance or stamina, something like that. What's your take on this?
First of all, I believe the parents will have to give them persistent daily encouragement,
Yes.
give them opportunity to do something that they want to do. For instance, taking part in sports.
Taking part in sports, yeah.
Sports is, in a sense, is a competitive activity.
Yes,
So
indeed.
the kid would strive to win, to be the best. So encourage them to take as many sports as possible.
Great.
Secondly, to get them exposed to different types of learning. For instance, I'll probably say singing, music,
Mm,
painting, all these hobbies.
mm,
Now, any kind of learning would be a challenge for a child.
yes.
So parents will have to encourage them to perfect, to become better. So give them a lot of opportunity to do something new instead of nothing, instead of just twiddling their fingers on the cell phone all day long. This is not good. It's also bad for your neck, for the eyes, for the health.
Yes.
Encourage them to go out, become active.
Okay.
So
So
that's one of them.
yeah, okay, let me summarize two things. The first one is try to seek opportunities to sign up sports events for them, like competitive ones would be better because they shall, develop certain qualities like perseverance and how to keep on pushing themselves out of this comfort zone. And the second is about try to expose them to various of diverse like learning stuff or with hobbies. But I think one thing that parents should be aware of is try not to put their interest on the children's part. You shouldn't just say, okay, I'm interested. I haven't achieved my dream of being a pianist. Or we say being able to play piano. I want my kids to play piano. Possibly he or she is much into playing flute, or we say some other musical instrument, not yours. Yeah, that's just the one
Of
point that I
course,
want to add.
of course, of
Yeah,
course. You cannot force your child to do what you like.
yeah, okay. All
Find out
right.
what they like
Yes, that's indeed the
and
case.
encourage them.
Yes. Okay, of course. Plus the encouragement along the way. Just be a very good company for them, like a cheerleader, to hit the drum and then say, come on, you can do better, much better, something like that. Great, Stephen. How about next the question? I want to say, you mentioned about this kind of daily practice in the script that you forwarded me before our discussion. Um, and also you also emphasize the significance of continuously practicing those daily, we say stuffs. You mentioned like some starting from very simple ones like taking care of your living environment, like your study or this bedroom. So have you your personal experience to share about this specific part, and maybe those youngsters and like people like me could get some experiences from?
Unfortunately, as I told you, I never had a bedroom. I never
Okay.
even had a bed when I was young, so I
Uh-huh.
never have to sweep the floor or cook anything for myself.
Okay.
But these days, kids they usually have a bedroom.
Yes, yeah, they have
Have
their
a
own
tidy
bedroom.
bedroom. Have a tidy bedroom. You have to explain to the kid why do you have to tidy up your bedroom.
Hmm.
You have to put your stuff into designated space
Yes.
and then keep on the good habit. Be persistent. The reason for doing that, if every day when you see you have a tidy bed, tidy desk, you'll be surprised how happy the kid will be every time when he sees everything's tidy. So he will never lose anything. He will never have to spend time looking for where's my pencil? Where's my slippers? Where's my socks? So everything is put in the right space. You
Mm.
can find them easily without wasting time. Now, being persistent is what we're trying to achieve. It's difficult. You have to be persistently doing the same job every day.
Hmm.
That, in a sense, is to train you mentally overcome the laziness.
Mm.
So afterwards, everything becomes a habit. The more chores you do, for instance, sweep the floor,
Yes.
helping to tidy the kitchen, you take something out of the fridge, you put it back exactly where you took it from. So this is not easy. All these things are not easy. But once when you're accustomed to doing these things, believe me, you will feel good. At the end, when you look at it, you feel good.
All right.
So these are the small things as a child. For instance, well, there are many different things we could do.
Mm.
And as a child grows older, there will be more challenging things to do.
Yes,
Right?
indeed.
There'll be something he's never done it before. Don't be afraid. Let him or her go in and do it. He might bug it up. He might make a mess. Don't worry about it. Just let him do it. All right.
Okay.
If they want to do it, eventually they'll find a way to do it nicely. You'll be surprised. After a few trials, he will do it better than you could.
All right. Stephen, so we know that this year is 2023. I think robots are not a foreign topic anymore, not in this era, And talking about automation and this robotic services, I mean, it's very common situation or it's a phenomenon. I think for children or say for youngsters, they may already have this kind of like sweeping robots at their disposal when it comes to dealing with kind of sweeping the floor, this kind of chores. Um, how are you gonna persuade them to not use that stuff to help them do this kind of thing, but try their own hands on this kind of dirty things? I mean, they may wonder, come on, Dad, I could use the time I could use the time to do some more meaningful or creative stuff like you know uh, or more interactive or engaging things like playing computer games. I don't waste my time on such kind of things. How are you going to persuade them? I mean, they may see not the necessity of doing so considering they have such handy tools.
This is a big challenge in modern times because of all this high tech equipment coming out.
Yes.
Unfortunately, parents are facing this difficult situation. I suppose we cannot let the children indulge themselves.
Yes.
More conversation. Now, everybody has to eat. Your computer, your cell phone is not going to cook you something, is it? Or maybe you can say, well, I can order something, yeah, get somebody delivered, but it costs money. Where's the money coming from?
Okay.
If your cell phone, if your computer could print money, well, great, we have no problem. But unfortunately, it's not going to print any money for you, right?
Right.
By moving your fingers on the cell phone, you still have to cook.
Yes.
You still have to sleep. This is the practical terms we have to look at. This reality.
Okay, that's a very
Communication,
yeah, that's
explaining.
I think you just pinpoint the essential part. It's about where does your money come from? It's about being independent and count on yourself when you don't have those the convenient tools at your disposal. I would say also you mentioned one thing that is about conversation. I don't see the pointless, or we say the uh mm, let me rephrase my idea a bit. I mean, actually, I'm not against using these tools, but it's about the degree, to what kind of degree that you would allow your children to use these tools, and also while in the meantime help them to develop those sense of being independent and then count on themselves when it comes to like cooking or making your living space tidy. That's indeed the case. I'm all for it. Yeah. Let's see if we have some other things to talk about. Uh, I think we've covered at least the 4 or 5 topics. Now, yeah, we still have 10 minutes left. Stephen,
Okay.
how about we have a casual chat, or we say you can also shoot me questions and then see if I can give you some.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this is like free talk section. And also see, I think we may have some discussions that could later on be trimmed into certain part with sharing.
Tell me, how do you deal with difficulty?
Um,
When especially when you are in great difficulty,
okay.
big challenge,
Yes.
how would you handle this big problem?
Speaking of the difficulty, I'd like to mention, the specific period that actually was about the lift of the lockdown of the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning of 2023. So, Chinese people, back then was facing this kind of tsunami-like infection. Tsunami-like, I think people around me, my relatives, my colleagues, my friends, they were all infected. And to make it worse, me personally, I had not the vaccination. So
Oh, you never did.
yeah,
Okay.
I didn't have the vaccination for some particular reasons. I always have inexplainable stuff. Anyway, so the difficulty part for me was not about getting infected, uh, but about how to deal with the situation where the dearest people to me, my grandpa, from my mother's side, were suffering due to this. I mean, this happening. He had, of course, some chronic disease like related to his lung area, and also he was diagnosed with the late stage, I think it's about the throat part, the cancer. Um, it, The very tricky part was I was having a job, and my grandpa, he is the only elderly people of my family circle, the nuclear family circle. And I don't know, I didn't know what to do. I either I had to quit my job and then go and went back to the hometown, or stay here. Um, so, but I thought I could have more opportunities in the upcoming future to make money, but he the only the dear person, the elderly person that I have. So I decided to quit, and I went back to Jiangsu, and I stayed with him for a couple of days, and he
Mm.
passed away right after the Spring Festival, and
Oh,
yeah, so it was a trauma for my parents, especially my mother, because her father left the world, and also my grandpa, the only, I mean, elderly relative, we say the people left the world. I I didn't know how to approach my mom in a way that would be comforting. Always say that would be soothing for her. The only thing that I could do was to accompany her. But the tricky point was, as I mentioned earlier, I didn't take the vaccination, so I didn't know why my kind of syndrome was worsened. Once I returned back home. I somehow even lost my conscience, during my stay in Jiangsu province. I stayed in bed, literally bedridden for a week.
oh.
So you could imagine what my mom was going through back then, and and how how vulnerable I felt back then.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
I
also
could
I
see.
had also this inner fear of going to the hospital because I didn't have the vaccination, and the situation was not clear whether I might develop some further syndrome that may uh, worsen the situation. So all I could do then was to stay indoors for a week, and then after I could walk a bit around, and I I went to my mom, my grandpa's home, and then stay with them for like 2 days, and then I returned back to my brother's apartment, and then we had a pretty eventful Spring Festival. I guess it was like the lowest part of my life for that kind of scale of event. I felt grateful for my body condition. I mean, I did pull through. Otherwise, you won't be we won't be having this kind of conversation. And another thing that I wanted to mention is about having hope, and otherwise you just cannot pull through such kind of event, don't you? And yeah, that's it. Uh, After being through that scale event, I somehow feel that as long as you have your breeze, your breeze, as long you are breathing, as long as you have hope and this kind of confidence, as you just mentioned, you can overcome any difficulty lying ahead or right now you're facing. So that's basically what I want to say about this kind of difficulty. If I were to add one more thing, that is the support from your dear member, I mean family members. Without them, my dad, my mom, also my brother, and also my love, I of course I won't be able to be here right now. That's basically what I want to mention. Yeah. It's pretty tedious. I think it's really tedious. Not that brief as you have just mentioned, but it was indeed a heartfelt experience for me.
Sounds
Mm.
sounds interesting. And life is full of unexpected situation. It's unpredictable. And as long as you have hope, as long as you have positive mind, everybody will go through these uncertain situation. The worst thing a person needs is start worrying, start thinking the worst thing that could have happened. So immediately you want to turn that brain off. You have to shut them out, keep them over your head, do whatever there is to be done. For instance, go swimming, go around the block, run around the block,
Yeah.
go to play soccer, take your mind off. You'll be surprised afterwards, because I believe exercise generates happy chemical in your body.
Yes.
You feel better. You will feel more optimistic, and you forget what the way was all about before you went to exercise. I think that helps as well.
Thank you so much. That
As
do
long
sounds
as
like
we have health, everything will be all right.
yes, indeed. Yeah. I do have a couple other experiences to share regarding your question about how to deal with difficulty in my life. But considering that the time is 9:30, I'd like to
Yeah.
save this part for our future discussions. Very much appreciate Stephen, your intake and also your sharing about the topic we've just mentioned. I do feel the part that you just gave me was sounds so much like advice that my grandpa or my grandma would like to give to me. And that's the reason why I'd like to continue our discussions. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Stephen. Let's
That's good.
schedule another round of discussion, and I will inform you about the date and exact arrangement.
Okay.
Also, I shall pick a topic and then try as much as possible to center our discussion on a fixed
Sure.
realm of and then see if
Okay.
we can have more discussion. Thank you so much again,
Sounds
Stephen.
good.
Have a good day and have a sound sleep. Yes,
You have a nice weekend.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, great. Bye for now. Bye.
We'll talk again.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now,
Bye.
how do I switch it off?
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
All right. You have to switch it off, huh?
Oh, okay.
Is
Yes,
it?
I have to switch off. Yeah, right.